Hello, everyone. It's Stephen from Shortcuts here again. I have a playlist coming out tonight. So, this is your preview of the jazz selection, which will be maybe not as big as previous weeks, but still, I think there's some very, very interesting stuff here that I'd like to show to you. Now, the first one, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this yet. I don't know if I can sell it. I don't know. I guess if there are big enough fans, come and talk to me. But it's this. So one of my favorite Cannonball Adderley Quintet records is Them Dirty Blues, and one of the club, Ivan bought a copy of this from me a little while back and restored the sleeve. But this is the record. It's on the Riverside label, which was famous for Bill Evans and others. But if you can see here, on this side, it's signed by Julian Cannonball Adderley. And on this side, this way around, it's signed by, actually, because of the way maybe it is this, by Nat Adderley. So both Adderley brothers have signed this copy. So any Adderley Brothers fans out there who want to have a chat to me, come, but I don't know what I'm going to do with this. This is obviously a pretty interesting piece. But I don't think it's the most special record in the list today. I think it has to be this. So this is the original master recording, or other words, the MoFi recording of We're All Together Again for the First Time by Dave Brubeck. The band consisting of Jerry Mulligan, Paul Desmond, Alan Dawson, and Jack Six. So you'll see on the inside is the description of this night. I think it's in New York. I think early 60s. But part of the reason that this is so highly regarded, obviously long sold out, and it goes in this condition, which is pretty much mint. It goes for squazillions on Discogs. In the US, this thing's just revered. But the 16-minute version of Take 5 on this is to be heard, to be believed. The way that they turn, they almost slow the tempo all the way down, and they turn it into almost like a soul track. It's quite something. The musicianship it's just extraordinary. Of course, the early MoFi all came with these descriptions of the process. It's got all the inners and everything, all present and correct. And I think, I don't know if I've ever had a more special jazz record than this one. Now, these are interesting. So, on the Impulse label, John Coltrane, 1961, the Africa Brass Sessions. This is the original Japanese pressing on hard cardboard gatefold with the description of the event. 21 musicians, everyone who's anyone played on this. Freddie Hubbard, Elvin Jones, Rudy Van Gelder produced. Now, I've got the original on the Impulse, but I've also got the follow-up sessions that were released, other cuts from the same session, also on the Input label. So those two John Coltrane Africa Brass records are pretty incredible. I think first time I've ever had them as well. Really hard to find. Now these next few are kind of a little bit more common, but still fantastic records. Herbie Hancock's Maiden Voyage. I love this album. The Obi kind of covers it here as Obi, but that's Bill Evans, and that's Tony Bennett. So this is the Tony Bennett Bill Evans album. It does what it says on the tin. It's got just smile-inducing mellow jazz. It's just, it's a Sunday afternoon treat. This one not so much, but still pretty cool. This is the Miles Davis classic, Round About Midnight. This is the Japanese first press with the Obi. So that's pretty lovely. A couple of other ones that I'm just going to show you before I'm going to finish with something I think is pretty special. So, continuing the Cannonball Adderley theme, this is Cannonball Adderley live in Europe. This is super rare. Amongst those who know, very, very highly regarded. It was recorded in a tour, I think in the early 60s in Belgium. And the sound quality is great. Whatever recording mechanism they had in place, they did a tremendous job. And part of the reason, for those of you who know your Japanese records, that you know that things are first press, is that rather than having a separate inner in Japanese and English typically, you can see here that the details are printed right onto the back sleeve. That's a key indicator. If you ever want to keep your eye out for the first presses of Japanese records, that's a good way of kind of being in the know that this is what it says. And you'll also see no translations, so just Japanese, other than the titles. So on the Fontana label, on Fontana Records, but on the original Riverside label. So I think I'm surprised that the price point on this one, because this is super, super rare, but it's actually, they put it in the box quite cheap. And this is Cannonball Adderley live in Chicago. Still one of my favorite record sleeves. Just love this little in joke with the saxophone and the nose and everything. It's just wonderful. This one's a bit unusual. I've never had this before. It's on the Verve label. It's Sonny Stitt sitting in with the Oscar Peterson Trio. I played this tonight. It's what, again, Sonny Stitt's maybe not as famous as some of his other contemporaries on the sax, but I don't think there's anyone who couldn't make a special record with that classic Oscar Peterson Trio of that era. Anyway, obviously the piano jazz and the double bass are just phenomenal. There's still one more of the DeAgostini, actually maybe two, the Albert Ayler as well, but just for those of you who maybe aren't sure what the DeAgostini box sets are about, so it's the sleeve comes in this kind of Japanese box, still sealed, as you can see. When you unpeel it, you get the original album in its original artwork with the same attention to detail that the first presses came, and then you get a 180 gram remastered release of the record, and I've heard nothing but positive feedback on them. I listened to the Horace Silver myself last week, and it was really good. So this one and the Albert Ayler are still available. And then finally, I want to show you this. This is the box set of Art Blakey's, I think it must have been over multiple nights. He played at the Club Saint-Germain, which I think was in Paris. So you get this box, and you can see here you get the gold leaf down the inside, which shows no wear whatsoever. And when you read about this record, it's the ultimate intro to that hard bop era of big beat Art Blakey, Moanin', the Big Beat itself, and others. There's really great versions of pretty much everything that's on Moanin' and some of the drum suite and others from that era. But when you open it, I'm just going to show you, it kind of opens like this, and you get this really, really beautiful inner that kind of has some really cool photographs on the bits and pieces. And then the records themselves are in quite austere, I'm trying to do this carefully, there's three of them. So the three, volume 1, 2, and 3. But the only way to listen to this is in mono. And the beautiful thing, these are all the original mono pressings on the RCA label. Not that crappy Dynaflex, terrible vinyl from the 70s that RCA insisted on putting us through, that just has terrible noise floor, but heavy, almost feels like 150, 160 gram vinyl, really, really nice. This has never been played. You can tell these things haven't been taken out of the box. Never seen this before, never had it before. I think it's great. All right, so that's our jazz selections. As always, would love your feedback. Any questions, any thoughts, let me know. Keep an eye out for the list. It'll be 9 p.m. tonight. That's going to be Wednesday. I think it's the 23rd. I'll have to check, or maybe 24th. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Yeah, thank you for watching. If it's gone on too long, please give me feedback. If these are crap, just let me know. Again, thank you. Bye.